Uh, Welcome back to the BMAM podcast. We're starting on section 1.3,
Yeah,
organizational objectives.
yeah,
So we have vision and mission statements. Vision statement is a long-term aspirations of a business. It can influence a consumer's perception and how they view the business. Then we have the mission statement, which is it's like the purpose and the core values of a business and more the day-to-day operations. So we have the levels of objectives. We have strategic objectives, which is the long-term goals set by senior leadership. The tactical objectives, which is the medium-term plans by middle management. And the operational objectives, which is short-term day-to-day tasks by lower management.
and the levels they kind of stack upon each other, which is the operational objectives are needed to provide tactical objectives, and so are the tactical objectives needed to provide the strategic objectives. The need for change in objectives. We have corporate culture, which is,
Is the how the business is, the people.
and then we have type and size of the organization. We have state of the economy, government constraints, and new technologies and market trends. Now
Now
we have CSR, corporate social responsibility, which in definition means the ethical and environmental considerations in business operations. And the aims are fair treatment of stakeholders and sustainable practices and community support. Purpose of ethical objectives. First, we have the altruistic attitude, which is the genuine concern for social benefits. Another attitude is the strategic attitude, which is the social responsibility for competitive advantage. And then last, we have self-interest attitude, which is the government's role to protect society.
now we have the evolving role of CSR. It's more important when as it grows with competitiveness in the market. So people would want to prefer to buy your product if you're doing more CSR. Pressure groups raise awareness. So if you're, for example, releasing too much carbon, they will raise awareness and you should change that. And governments may also impose penalties for unethical practices, for example, carbon, and educated consumers demand ethical behavior. Okay, now we have the SWOT analysis. It's a tool to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of a business. These are internal and what the business can experience, and we have opportunities and threats, which is outside of the business, and for example, if a new competitor comes or anything.
During pandemic, and it's used for strategic planning and risk assessment. Then we have the ANSOF matrix, and the ANSOF matrix consists of market penetration, product development, and market development and diversification, which is not fully shown on our slide here, but market penetration uh, definition of it is selling more existing products to the existing markets, and then product development, introducing new products to existing markets, market development, selling existing products to new markets, and then diversification is selling a different product uh,
New
to new
markets.
markets.
Now we have stakeholders, which is section 1.4. A definition of stakeholders is individuals or groups with an interest in the business. They can be internal or external to the organization and influence or are affected by the business's activities. So whoever has any connection to the business.
Then we have the internal and external stakeholders. The internal stakeholders consist of shareholders, the owners, the employees, and the management. And then the externals are customers, suppliers, governments, communities, and competitors. Interests of internal stakeholders. The interest of owners and slash shareholders is profit profitability, dividends, and business growth. So all the uh, all the economical growth. Employees, we have job security, fair wages, and career development. Management is the successful implementation of strategies and performance recognition. Interests of external stakeholders with customers, high quality products at low prices, suppliers, long term contracts, and timely payments, which means that the business pays them back for their supplies. Government, legal compliance, and tax contribution, which means they pay their taxes to the government. Communities, jobs, infrastructure, and environmental responsibility.
Stakeholder conflicts. So different stakeholders have conflicting objectives because customers want low prices, but shareholders would want high profits, so they would want high prices. Employees want higher wages, and owners want cost minimization. So it's key to balance the stakeholder interests to maximize business effectiveness. We have a stakeholder analysis, which is a tool to identify and prioritize stakeholder groups, helps understand the levels of interest and power of stakeholders, so which are most important to the business. For example, so we can focus on the with stakeholders in the decision-making process. For example, we have high power, high interest stakeholders must be managed closely.
Then uh, that's it for this episode of the podcast. We will do the next part in the next podcast. See you soon.